where the hell? I'm trying to bring up the agenda. Patrick, do you have a copy of the?
Yep. So we can call to order the Willington Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission, November 16th, 2020, 7:54 p.m. Special meeting agenda. Call to order. We have Dave Schreiber, Mark, and myself. Seeing of alternates, there's no alternates to be seated. So there's an application to be received, which is the new business, correct?
It was already received, so this is just right to new business.
All right, so we're gonna new business, inland wetlands application IW 20-12. Application for re-subdivision of lot number 3, Latham Landing, to create 2 new lots for single-family homes at 59 Latham Road, map 09, lot 033, owner Michael Nogus, applicant Edward Peltier. Was there anyone to speak for this application?
Yes, I'm here. My name is Richard Zulick. I'm with Datum Engineering and Surveying, representing application IW 20-12 on a 3-lot subdivision called Latham Landing, represented on a datum plan dated August 24th, 2020. This is this re-subdivision consists of 2 new lots, lots 4 and 5, and 1 lot line change, creating lot 3, which is the existing home that Mr. Nogus lives in. The address again is 59 Latham Road in Willington. The applicant is Michael Nogus. We do have a approved subdivision or subdivision approval from Eastern Highland Health District dated September 30th, 2020, reference SDPR-20-5. Sanitarian is Holly Hood. These lots are located west of the CL&P easement and east of Latham Road.
Rick, do you have anything that you can share with us through the Zoom, as far as like site plans or anything else that we should be looking?
You don't have a copy. You don't have a copy of the
approval?
For the approval. Yeah.
And I have the plans on my computer if you'd like me to pull them up.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's look what we're actually going to be looking at here.
This is a copy of the subdivision approval.
Right. Mike, can you pull up any documents that you may have that we can share on screen that we can all look at? Thank you.
Yep, that's the one. So as you can see, it's again lots 4 and 5 and lot 3, which is a lot line change.
So we're looking at what, lot 4 and 5?
Yeah, lot 4 and 5 are new lots.
And we're
Lot
cutting
3.
the
Lot
that
3 is a lot
border-
line change.
So that
which is-
border between 4 and 3 was not there in the original plan.
Right.
Right, yeah, I was looking at different plans before.
I think that was the old one.
Okay,
Now, the other plan that I was looking at had the houses sketched in where they were going to be, and had where the wells are, where the septic systems are, and where the reserves are, and so forth and so on.
yeah,
Yeah, this was dated August 24th, 2020. Is that the most current revision? That's
just
the one that
swapped
I
out.
have.
I just swapped out another plan. Can you see that? See the upland is in
Yeah,
red?
this is the one.
That's the
Yeah.
one.
Is it big enough?
Yeah,
Yep.
I can see it. So you can see from this that neither proposed house is in the upland review area, but there's going to be some work done in the upland review on lot 5.
I don't think there's going to be any activity really in the upland review. We're not planning on it, that's for sure. You can see that the well, the septic system, the house, the driveway, everything is planned outside of that area.
right, so what we're looking at is there gonna be any grading in that area in order to, or grading or excavation to install the septic system, the leach field,
Oh.
anything else like that?
No, there is not. There's nothing proposed in the subdivision plan.
So,
Right. So the other question I have is, where is the well on lot 4?
The well on lot 4 is located just west of a line that you draw between the proposed house on 4 and 5. Oh, it's not shown there. So move your pointer a little to the left.
That's,
Left.
yeah, that was the lot
Going.
5 well.
No, keep going. Keep going, right about there. Yeah, it's interesting that it's not on that plan, but it is on mine, and I can show you a copy of it, although I don't see my face. Can you see this?
We have to get a bit bigger picture of it.
Yeah.
okay, he put a star there, Dave.
Yeah. Yep, there, right there.
Okay.
That's the well. And it is shown on my plan. I don't know why it's not shown on yours. The well arcs do in fact overlap, of course, but that's fine. Yeah. And again, it's well away from any wetlands. No pun intended.
Mike, could you scroll up just a little bit so I can see lot 5?
Okay. Sorry, I got a bunch of stuff that I was trying to see. We have comments from Eastern Highlands. I was just trying to see if there's anything in there that was worth mentioning. So obviously this isn't going to move.
That's good. We can see
All
most
right,
of
so
lot
the
5.
septic, the septic is gonna be up here near Latham Road.
Right.
All right, so, this is-
So there's really not too much for us here as long as you stay out of the upland review area.
Absolutely. Now, when the final plans come through for an individual lot, if they
Yeah.
want to do anything within that area, they're going to have to get a permit from you. But this is a subdivision of level approval, and we have nothing planned within that regulated area.
So what you're saying is that there's no, no construction planned right now, it's just for approval? On these?
Right. Right, this is a subdivision level approval and a subdivision level plan. So when someone actually buys a lot on the subdivision, they have to provide an engineer's plan with very specific information, elevations for the septic system,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera. And with that, if they wanted to create a lawn or something that went back within that area that's regulated by you, they would have to sit before you and apply for a permit. But
So
at this
this is,
level,
this is the approved, previously approved plan, which shows the house that he referenced. And then that's the area of the two lots. That's the current configuration.
Right.
So now, once they get through you guys, they still have to go to planning and zoning for a re-subdivision application.
All right, so they're splitting this lot, was that lot number 3 into 2?
Correct.
Right. They're carving 4 and 5 out of it.
Yep.
yes, exactly.
Go back to that, there's a lot of wetlands up there.
Yep. Willington's a swamp.
You think so?
Pretty flat area. Not a lot of topography.
That's about the best I can do.
All right.
In terms of the wetlands, I can talk a little bit about them and say that this is a farmed area. It's pretty disturbed. I think that the wetlands that I marked really are the result of some excavations. They created a low spot and it filled with water and it becomes a wetland.
Sure.
But it's pretty disturbed. There's been a lot of activity all over the place in there. The wetlands to the south on that prior subdivision, those were natural wetlands. These, they qualify, but they don't have a lot of function or value. They look bad on
Pretty isolated. They look pretty isolated to me.
Yeah.
Is there any connectivity between any of those, Rick?
Just groundwater.
Just groundwater flow. So
Yep.
your thought, like with the edge of the septic with the soils there, would that create any problem? Like, is that fairly well drained soil up there where they're going to
Yeah.
put the leach field?
Yeah, the soils that exist outside of the wetland are Sudbury, moderately well drained. They're pretty sandy soils, but they're not overly permeable. You can see the well arcs are much closer proximity to the septic systems than the wetlands are. That's for sure. And we have no concern, nor does Eastern Highland, regarding water quality within the wells. So I think that speaks volumes toward the protection of the wetlands.
Now, as far as the foundation drains, like, how are those going to be constructed? Do you know, or is that going to like add a lot of volume to the wetland system at all, or?
Will it add a lot of volume? No. No, I mean, they'll daylight down gradient, and at that point it becomes some overland flow. It could add some it won't decrease anything in terms of volumes to the wetlands, but it could add some, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
All right. Well, for the property owner, it may.
It matters that a footing drain adds water to the wetland.
Well, it may increase the size if you know, if you're adding water to an existing wetland area. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I don't think it will.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to go tit for tat here, but
I don't really see that the footing drains are coming out that close to the wetlands.
I can't really. Okay, yeah, it's okay. It's still way outside the buffer there.
Yeah,
Way outside, yeah.
Okay, I got you. I can't see. It's very small for me.
right,
Understood.
well,
Yep.
we had it up as a whole screen before without the
Yeah.
left-hand side being like that. It was, hey, there it goes. Look at that.
I need some spectacles. Oh
I
yeah,
don't-
it's still well outside, way outside there. Okay.
I don't think that one can build 4-bedroom houses on these lots. I think that,
I don't think we tried.
Yeah.
We went with 3-bedroom homes. I don't know.
right, I understand that, but sometimes the buyer might like to change these things. You have to make sure that,
They'd have to come back to you.
Yeah.
I think you could put a septic system in that would support it. All you have to really meet is MLSS. The effective leaching area can be met with different products. I don't
But it
think
would-
that would be a problem.
it would be a bigger house and all sorts of other stuff. None of these
Yep,
things
come
are
back to-
isolated.
Yep.
So, Mike, what are we voting on here? Are we voting for the approved subdivision per these plans, even though
You-
there'll be no construction done?
Well, there is going to be construction because they're going to build the house. It is before you because the proposed lot has wetlands on it. So you're not, your jurisdiction is to consider the fact that this new lot will have wetlands on it. And so that's why he's telling you things like, we're not having any grading in the upland review. We're not proposing any construction, within the upland review. So even though the physical construction of the home will have no impact to the upland review area, because the lot that doesn't exist today has upland review on it, it's required to go before you for approval before
Right.
you go to planning and zoning.
And so we're looking at a non-jurisdiction ruling?
Are you asking or telling? Sorry, I was playing with the map.
I'm somewhere in between.
You have jurisdiction because he's asking you to facilitate essentially this first step in creating this lot. So you're not worried about whether the driveway's here and the septic's there, because those are the things that you don't see. Your charge is to determine if the creation of this lot and it is appropriate and if what's proposed will have an impact on the wetland.
Right.
It sounds like what you're hearing and feeling is that because there's no activity proposed in the upland review, it's probably not a big deal, which is probably why you're asking, why is this before us?
That's pretty much,
Yeah. What are those lines V and LD there?
There's a
That's a-
FD, which is a footing drain.
there's the limits of disturbance, LD.
Disturbance.
Yeah.
Okay. So I gotta ask then, so limits of disturbance, are you gonna have any BMPs in place there, Rick?
Well, there's nothing proposed, but I would expect that there would have to be, you'd have to put silt fence up, no question. And that would be on the final plan, the engineered plan.
Okay.
Yeah, you absolutely would want silt fence.
And you will put that in.
Yes.
I must say that looking at these plans on Zoom is not nearly as easy as having a piece of paper in your hands.
Absolutely.
Well, gang, do we have any other questions about this?
Oh, I don't think so, Dave. I
I
mean,
think that if we make up a motion that we should make sure that we mention the silt fences.
Yeah, definitely.
so are we just, Mike, are we just accepting this tonight, or is this gonna go to a vote?
You've already accepted it. It's deemed to be accepted based on their received date. So you can vote tonight if you're not comfortable or you feel you need more information. You don't have to. You could move it to the next meeting, but the application's already received.
So do we want to come up with a motion with some, I mean, I see very limited conditions on this.
Yeah, like I say, just get that well somehow, the disappearing well put back in place and get the silt fences on the plan.
Yeah,
So the two things that you talked about that I think would be included as maybe part of your conditions as a suggest, at least for you to consider, would be that, just as a boilerplate, any changes to the grading would require, agent approval, and that the silt fence shall be installed along the limit of disturbance line.
correct.
So if we, and understanding there may need to be a little bit of an adjustment there based on what they do, but if we get the silt fence, farther away than the upland review area, then we know that there's going to be no chance of anybody getting in there with an
Yeah,
overexcited
Yeah,
bobcat.
the silt fence could essentially go in along the limited disturbance line,
Yeah.
Right.
approximately.
yeah, and that's far away from the buffer anyway, so
Right.
I got,
But the two are related.
Yep.
Okay.
So it would be the changes to the grading would require agent approval. Silt fence shall be installed on the limit of disturbance, and the well location
for lot four.
for lot 4 shall be included. The final plans.
Okay.
Do you want me to type those on the screen so you can read them, or do you think you can remember them?
I'll put them in.
I'm sure with a little prompting I can remember. So I make a motion that we accept this plan. I don't have the Willington ID numbers, so I'll just say this plan as written, except for 3 conditions. One being that a silt fence needs to be put into the narrative, and the second one is that the well needs to be demarcated on lot 4. And the third one is, help me out here.
Silt fence for the installation of the silt fence along the limits of disturbance.
Yeah,
And then
So-
any changes to grading.
that's the one. That was the third one. And any changes to grading, we will have to approve. So you guys can make that look like it's supposed to in the office, right, Mike?
See that?
Yep.
Looks good. Oh,
Because I can actually read it now.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So the chairman has
I
to,
second the motion.
that's Mark's job traditionally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mark?
You kind of overstepped your boundaries too, Dave. That's okay.
Sorry, Mark. I kind of put myself out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, well, he's co-chair, so he's got to call the vote.
Have at it, Pat.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
There's no one to oppose.
Yeah, well, you're supposed to ask, just follow the forms.
Abstentions?
Nope.
Very good.
That's to make the legal people happy, that's all.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So we are pretty much through with
Okay.
that one.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks, Rick.
Hey.
Take care.
Fade to black.
Was that AC/DC?
Mhm.
All right. Let me do this. Share. Screen.
I'm going to ask for about a minute of non-screen time here.
Okay, a minute recess.
Start counting now.
Oh, I got to spin it. 30 minutes. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's really good. Wow. Awesome.
There. He's back.
One more. We lost Patrick.
I forgot to put my glasses on before I put the earbuds in.
I don't know how much bigger I can make it, so.
It's readable.
Okay,
We're back.
we're back.
I had to check on the banana bread.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Stuff with cream cheese.
sounds good.
Yeah.
I made an election cake for my wife's birthday.
Good.
Her birthday's the 25th of October.
Oh,
It's called a
Great.
Connecticut election cake. Anyway, let's go on with this thing.
Was it good? Did it taste good?
Oh, it was very good. Either that or people being kind to me.
Did you save like the top of it for 4 years from now? In your anniversary?
I'll just make another one.
Okay.
So I guess the only other thing that we have, well, for correspondence I can go over is in related to the forestry reg update that won't die.
Good Lord.
So the process that we go through is we approve it, we send it to the state. And I had heard from Nick Zito, who had a couple of changes, and they were basically, in my mind at least, asking us to change happy to glad. And I said, I don't want to have a public hearing to change happy to glad just because Deep says I have to change happy to glad. So can you tell me if these are things you're suggesting or things that you're mandating? Because they really were not substantial.
Right.
And he said, yeah, looking at it again, you're good. So, I'll run this up to the commissioner's office. Well, there are new commissioners. And so they've decided, maybe because of COVID, that they want to look at this with the biggest magnifying glass in the state. So I think probably everybody at Deep has looked at our regs. I heard from Doug Emmerthal last week, and they have a couple of proposed changes that they'd like for us to make. The commissioner read them, himself. The feedback was that they think we have a really strong document. They like they liked what we did. They like the changes. They think that they're really usable set of regs, so that's good. Of the changes, I'm going to run through them just very quickly. They want us to add a couple of statutory references, just basically, adding as defined in this statute. So that's a fair amount of them. The other thing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to resume share.
It went all the way up to the commissioner.
The commissioner has to literally sign a form and give it back to me for us to have new regs.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That far in the deep.
Yeah.
Well-
So you'll see this one here. They've asked us to just get rid of this line, which again, fine, no big deal. Another piece, they want us to add a statutory reference. The other thing is there's this reference in our regs to this letter, and they can't find a copy of such letter.
Where is that now?
See this here, letter dated February 15th, 2000.
Yeah, I see that.
So they're saying that the letter does not exist in Deep's files because the working group that basically came up with it was dissolved. And so referencing a letter that nobody has doesn't actually do anything for anybody.
So that letter doesn't actually exist anymore, right?
Right. And so based on the fact that we've already well-defined vernal pool, they don't see any reason to need to keep this definite reference to this letter. So they want us to change this section here. The comment was the Inland Wetland Watercourse Commission is operating under multiple authorities, and it's not clear which permit or authorization this reference is made to. So this is related to buffers. I think what they want us to do is make a change to also include if it was an as of right determination, because that's not a permit. But that was another one. And
I think that's come up with some of our applicants, right? Like, it's an as of right, like, use of their property to do this. So
right, so they're saying that if you give them an as of right determination, an as of right by state statute is not a permit. And so if you require an approved permit, but you've given them as of right, then they get caught in the middle where they don't actually have a permit.
I understand that, yes.
okay.
So again, they
So
just,
one would have to say it was a permit or as of right, or something like that.
or you can just say, unless separately approved or authorized by the Inland Wetlands Commission, just take that one piece out,
Yeah,
and then it covers any approval that they have. And then this one is if a disturbance is proposed in a regulated area or upland review area. So they're suggesting we add or upland review area. And then added the request for a jurisdictional ruling. Again, very good stuff.
So they added the jurisdictional ruling. Is that for them to decide?
No, that's for you guys. If you decide it's an as of right activity, that would be,
Okay.
and this is at the bottom of emergency forest practices, that this section does not obviate the requirement to obtain a jurisdictional ruling and or permit from the Inland Wetland Agency. That was from Darcy Winter.
yeah.
Who's the wetlands guru.
She's very good.
Yes. you'll see in this piece here, application form, they want to change regulated activity to forest practice because regulated activity comes out of wetlands. And this is out of the Forest Practices Act. And I think scrolling through here, I believe that's it. Yeah, yep, that was it. So basically, my discussion with Doug, I don't believe any of these changes are substantial. They're essentially grammatical or just references. I don't think we need to have a new public hearing because they don't change the regulatory scheme. That they don't change anything regulatory in the document. So unless you guys have any questions or issues, Deep has given me the basically have said if we commit to making the changes, they'll approve the document and get us the certificate of approval from the commissioner. And we'll just revise per Deep comments, and that'll be the end of it.
It sounds like a plan.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't sound like, addition of those
Changes.
statutory references is like pretty good, because that lays it right out. So I'm good with that. And they
Yeah,
have, and they didn't have much more to say about that. So
Yeah, yeah, like I said, he was really pleased with the document, and I, he knows. I mean, I pushed back on them before because I said, when he had called and said we have some changes, I'm thinking to myself, we went through the process. The commission spent hours getting banged over the head by foresters that felt like this was something we shouldn't even be doing. So I'm not about to, now that we've got a document that everybody feels comfortable with, start adding more bureaucratic hoops to this thing. And so I need you to tell me, are we obligated to make these changes or not? Because, we have a document that we all really, I think is good. And so once he finally looked at them and realized, they're just basically typographical little things, it's not a huge deal.
well, actually, with the addition of those statutory,
references.
that holds those foresters to those statutes. So they should already know those, right? So when they come before us, we're like, hey, we're holding you to these statutes, right? So they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, we know those, or they don't, but.
Yeah, I think that, the other piece is that by adding the statutory reference, there's no debating clarity because the statute provides the guidance. And so there's no debate about what you meant, what you thought, what the commit, so that it kind of levels the playing field.
Yeah,
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, it works for me.
Cool. So so I will make those, and we should be all set.
Geez, how long, what was that, like a couple of years we've been working on those?
Oh, no, more like 10.
10 years.
Really, we've been working on this a long time.
Fruition.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see it over. I don't know. I don't think even Mark was on the commission before when we started on this.
Sure, but I know it's been a while.
Yep.
A legacy.
I call this Tessa's legacy. Essentially, she wrote those regs.
Pretty much. Now we need some new commissioners to carry on the torch.
Yeah.
Any friends out there that want to come on board?
I've been, I had a long discussion with somebody who's going to remain nameless, and they pretty much agreed that you're an exception, Patrick, because most people your age aren't that interested in being on these commissions.
So what does that have to do with them getting on?
Well, that means that you've got the key and we don't, because all of the people that I knew are as old as I am.
So they're not interested.
So, you know, once you get to be 70 something or other, it becomes less exciting to do some of this stuff.
Now, wait a minute, Dave. How do we gauge that? By the length of your beard compared to the length of Mark's beard?
Oh, the color.
The color. Okay. Yeah, you still got
His
some black.
his
Still
his
got a
hasn't
little-
totally faded yet.
Not yet. Working on it.
He may be using some of that stuff he can comb in there, you know?
Shoe polish.
Yeah. You see on the NFL Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got testosterone in it.
Yeah, I've been trying to rattle some cages, but I don't know. People are weary.
It's an issue everywhere, all across Connecticut. There's, it's just finding people that are willing to serve, and then taking that group of people and whittling through the ones that wouldn't walk the town into a lawsuit, or it's a small pool in across the state. It's not just specific to Willington.
I think it's all of New England, because I know people in Maine that are having the same trouble.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, because we present a lot of stuff in Massachusetts, right? So we're coming in front of conservation commissions for inland wetland, applications, and some of these folks don't even know really what a wetland is, and resource areas and whatever. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of personal stuff, it's not like looking at it for what it is. It's like, well, what's my take on it? You know what I mean? So, and you're
Yeah.
recording, so I'm on record for that. So can you strike that, please, Ashley?
Can't strike the recording. So on the staff report discussion, next meeting date, obviously the 23rd, that meeting has been canceled. This is being held in place of it, so we won't be having that meeting. So the Peggy should have sent out to you the 2021 meeting dates, which hopefully you all have. They haven't,
Yep.
there's nothing shocking about them. They are, what they normally would be, the same time. So the current meeting schedule, like I said, we've canceled the 23rd. We're slated to have something on the 21st. That's the next meeting date if we haven't any business. And then January 25th, 2021 is the first meeting in January, but we need to get the approvals for this next year to the town clerk. So I just need something from you on that. to approve it.
Okay, can I make a comment about that list of dates?
Sure.
Historically, we haven't had a meeting in August unless it was a special meeting.
Yep. So we did this on the Planning and Zoning Commission side too. The reason why I put it on there is just so that if somebody submits an application in August, they're not waiting until September for it to be received. It can be received by statute in August, so that they're not waiting the 2 months. So we can still
always-
cancel.
Yes.
So sort of akin to that, have we decided that we can receive them by email?
The statute says that the application is received 35 days or the next regularly scheduled meeting, whichever is sooner. So that part is fine. The tricky part is the commission has to decide within 15 days of receipt if they want to have a public hearing. And
Right.
the only way for you all to make that decision is to more or less have a meeting. So if, in this case, if we got an application in that time frame and it was something significant, then we would probably get a special meeting for you to review it. But if it's something like a house in the Upland Review, we'd receive it in August and hear it in December or September. But it just allows us that flexibility with the received date.
Okay, I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we accept the next year's meeting schedule as written.
Second.
Okay, Patrick, what do you do next?
All in favor?
All in favor?
I'm in favor.
Mark?
Aye.
I'm caught in between. So when's our next meeting?
It would be in December. December 21st was the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Okay, that works for me.
So did we pass that motion?
I believe
We
so.
just need to
Okay.
complete it.
Abstentions?
Excuse me? Nope, I'm not abstaining. I already voted.
Right.
It's kind of like the election.
Who's
So
counting?
we've got meeting dates for 2021, so we've got 12 dates that we can put on the calendar to try to scrape up some additional attendees for.
Yep,
That's pretty much all I have on my end. The only other thing I will mention is every other year, the Connecticut Bar Association puts on that training at Wesleyan, which is all kinds of stuff, and Wetlands is included. It will be happening again. It will be virtual in March. So if you're interested, I can get you the date. We have a training budget, so we can send you if you want to go. Like I said, it's virtual.
is that Mark Brands again? Is he going to lead it this year? Do you know?
So Mark hasn't done a lot of speaking at these anymore because his voice is so weak that I don't think he can really cover that kind of time, but he's the one who sent the save the date.
Right.
But Halloran and Stage is a big component of that.
Right. I went there once to one of them, and it was really quite interesting.
It's a really, for someone, in like staff, because it's planning, zoning, wetlands, case law and enforcement, and it covers everything. Usually Marge Shansky, Janet Brooks, all the heavy hitters are the ones that are teaching. So it's helpful.
Right.
So,
Darcy's usually there.
yeah, although I don't know if the state, I don't know what their status is. Last I heard, they weren't allowed to get involved in any of that stuff right now because of COVID. We'll have to see.
Well, that's that's the way it is everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah. So put that on your calendars. If you're interested, let me know, and I will we'll keep an eye and get you registered if you want to do that.
Was there any talk for the deep training, the wetlands training?
So the wetland training is online. It's now completely virtual modules that you go through. Ashley took it a month or two ago. And so you go online and you register and you take it on your own and get a certificate. So there's no in-person, which is not COVID. It's not because of COVID. That's just they transitioned over to that.
Right.
Could you send that out to us, or do we need to take that?
Yeah. Yeah, I can find the link. They had
Okay.
an overwhelming registration, so it was down, I think, in September, but it should be back up. I will see if I can grab it and send it out.
And can you send us the agenda for that legal thingy that?
Yep. Yep, I will send that out.
I guess just looking ahead, do you forecast any new like applications or any new development? What's going on with Loves or anything like that?
Yep. So, we don't have a lot in the hopper. I mean, as we go into winter, I think, people I don't have any major projects that I can say are coming down. As far as Love's is concerned, I was reviewing a copy of their, what is it called? I don't want to get the wrong. It's a proposed joint favorable decision, I think, from DEEP. they do not have their final approval for the septic, but the state is having some issues with some specific design of one portion of a retaining wall that's really slowed things up. But the proposed joint final decision is online, and I read it, and I was talking with their attorney about the proposed clerk of the works. If you remember, that was a condition of our approval.
Yeah,
And so the proposed decision, which is like 30 pages, indicates that they need to have a clerk of the works, but it was unclear if the state wanted their own clerk of the works or if it could be ours. So I got an email back from the state late last week, basically confirming that we can hire the clerk of the works. They will basically be representing the town. And as long as they incorporate and review for all the various plans, there's no issues on the state side. So Loves has indicated their tentative plan, provided they don't have any more delays, would be to put shovels in the ground in the spring. So, as soon as the weather gets to the point where they're able to do it, they want to, because on their planning and zoning side, they have timeframes they got to get rolling. They got to start within a certain amount of time, and then once they start, they got to finish. So they can't wait. So we will be basically submitting an RFQ, putting an RFQ out from the town to hire a firm to do the planning and zoning inspections, the wetlands inspections, the septic, the stormwater, someone who can do all of that. And we will contract with them. They will bill the town, and then we will provide that invoice to Loves, just like we did for Ed Pollock, who did our wetland review. The attorney said, Greg said that they are also working on finalizing the deliverables that we had. So Josh Wilson is working on the biosurvey, planting plan, the critical habitat map. They provided the water quality monitoring plan to us, which was approved. So we have a copy of that. So the goal for them, if they can make it all happen, would be to come before the commission to present to you the findings of the biosurvey and the critical habitat map in December. So that's their target.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
So that's kind of where Love sits.
so this reminds me, TA across the road was supposed to have given us a spill
Okay, can you turn off the oven?
control for their place because they lost some 20,000 gallons of diesel down the drains.
Uh-huh.
It went all the way down to Long Island Sound.
How long ago?
Oh, you don't want to know. It must have been 15 years ago, and they were supposed to give us an official, how things screw up.
Like a spill prevention plan?
Yeah. And Peggy might know, she'll probably know exactly where it is in the files. If it still exists, if it's been ever submitted to us.
Okay. Well, we can look into that and see what they have. I mean, I know they're required to have one, I'm sure, for their, with the state, but I don't know if we have a copy. So if we have a copy of it, I will try to send it out with the deep training and the bar training info.
Well, the last thing I remember was that it hadn't been finished yet.
And that was 15 years ago.
Well, that was, Sue was working on that the entire time she was there.
Okay. Well, we'll see what we can come up with. I don't know, shake some trees.
Because sometimes these things get lost,
And if I
They're
remember,
just-
they were supposed to do some routine monitoring, weren't they? Of like,
Absolutely. For years and years and years, they're supposed to be, because the spill flowed right into Roaring Brook.
Yeah, I think it went through some like a treatment wetland and then,
Yeah, well, somebody had put a oil water separator in backwards.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have clerk of the works. Okay, we'll see what we can come up with.
Let's not hire that clerk of the works for,
I don't think they had one.
Probably not. Okay.
That's all I have.
Hey, Patrick, bang your gavel. Okay, thanks for hanging out with me tonight, guys.
Anytime.
is there anyone from the public here to comment? I take that as a no.
How does one invite a person who's not on the commission into one of these?
Anybody with that link can join.
So how do they get that link?
Right on
Do I
the
just-
agenda.
It's posted on
just
the
send
agenda.
them, I would just send them the agenda.
It's
Yep.
posted on the
Okay,
website.
So rather than the agenda saying town hall lower level conference room, that just says it has the link information, they can, and the phone number they can call in too.
okay, great.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
See you next
Thanks,
time.
Mike.
Yep, Mike, you're having a good time there still, I hope.
Don't show up on the 23rd. Take the night off.
Move to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
Oh, yeah.
aye.
Abstentions?
The ice cream's calling me.
All right, meeting's adjourned.
See you guys.
Yeah,
Have a good one.
bye-bye.